I do think that supplying you with the kettle corn, I'm concerned that if you figure out how to buy it outside of here, I won't ever get you the podcast. Exactly.
I won't need you.
No, I've got you hooked. That's how we get you here. You were upset this morning. Well, first of all, hello, Joy. How are you?
Hello.
Welcome to the Behind the Table podcast.
Yes. This is Tuesday, but I'm going to come back to Wednesdays.
Well, I was going to bring this up. You were very you didn't like that it's on Tuesday.
Well, my people, whoever like to listen to
the Joy
BS,
Boys out there.
The Joy Boys.
Yes.
They know that I'm a Wednesday person.
No, I think I found out you were supposed to do a talk show tomorrow, and it got rescheduled.
Oh.
So we based it around that.
I see.
So that's what happened. But
okay, never mind.
All right, so it's not really my fault. But I agree, and I think people will be excited because they weren't expecting you. They wake up and, hey, I got Joy on the podcast.
I'm not that popular.
Hey, you're pretty popular.
All right.
People love you. All right. Speaking of popular, today's show was really good, I thought. We had Senator Elissa Slotkin here, and basically she's kind of like the Democrat of the moment a little bit. You know,
because she gave the rebuttal.
Yes. Her big message for Democrats was that Democrats need to be ruthless in what we prioritize. She's basically saying that you can't go for it on every issue, which is, I think, that it floods into that whole flood the zone thing.
You're multitasking and you get nothing done.
Pick the one thing that matters to you and fight for that. Do you agree with that? You kind of gave that advice to somebody in our audience today, too.
Well, we were repeating what she said, basically. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, only because you can't do everything. Like in the middle of the show, I got a text from a friend in Florida, and she's saying, if they take my Social Security away, we are screwed. So I wrote to her, write to your senator, write to your congressman, march, protest, resist.
Well,
Don't let them do it to you.
That's the thing. So what is the one thing for you? I mean, they're saying economy, at least Senator Slotkin said for her it's the economy. What's your one thing?
Democracy is for me. I don't want to live in an authoritarian state. I don't want to live where free speech is not allowed, where they lock you up because you disagree with them. Mm-hmm. That's my thing.
You are not a fan of dictators until totalitarian governments.
I'm not.
You just broke up Social Security. So Elon Musk said in an interview yesterday that he wants to cut spending for entitlement programs, which includes Medicare and Social Security. Is this surprising to you? I mean, or have you always suspected this is the end game?
Well, I think that the Republican Party here and there over the many years has been trying to overthrow FDR's New Deal. Every time they're in office, they give it a shot. And now these people came in here and they have the capitulation of the Republican Congress and can do whatever they want. Listen, I remember Watergate. The Republican Congress got rid of Trump. Not Trump. Nixon. This is the same group of people who refuse to get rid of this guy that they know is going to kill them in the end. It's going to kill them at the
midterms.
Election, the midterms.
Yeah, you think so?
Will. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because now people are starting to catch on. Bernie Sanders is attracting thousands of people. I noticed.
Yes,
he had 1,000 people at one of his rallies. And, the same people who voted for Trump, I think a lot of them voted for Bernie when he was running in the primaries against Hillary. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah, sure.
Both he and Trump promised to help the little guy. But Trump was lying. And I think that if Bernie had become the candidate, I think he would have won.
I'm looking back. It's funny because, you get those memories on social media where they say 5 years ago this happened, 10 years ago this happened. Yeah. I recently saw pictures from Bernie Sanders' first appearances on The View. We played basketball with him.
Really?
We did. And
he was old then.
Yeah, we brought him a pizza, and we had like a running gag about you having a big crush on him. This was like a recurring thing that we went on for a long time. Yeah. The show was different but the same. It's interesting. All right. I know there was one thing that Slotkin said that you really agreed with, which was that if generations before us didn't fight for civil rights and women's rights, none of us would be here right now. I've heard you say similar things. If previous generations had gotten exhausted and gone into their homes, that would have been it. So we have to do this for our kids, our grandkids.
Well, when you think about the 20th century, which was a very bloody century, there was World War I, there was World War II, there was the Korean War, there was the Vietnam War. And I'm old enough to have been there for all of them. I was born during the World War II, not World War I. Give me a break. But my father was in the Navy. My uncle got a Purple Heart. My Uncle Tony was in Germany, face-to-face combat. My uncle Dickie was Uncle Dickie. You know who else has an Uncle Dickie?
Who?
Prince Charles.
Really?
Mountbatten was his Uncle Dickie.
Different uncle.
Different uncle. But my uncle, Dominic, actually was his name. He was an MP in the Korean War. My husband, my present husband, not Joe, that's the first one. Steve Janowitz. He was in the National Guard in the Vietnam War. My husband at the time was married, and he got an exemption.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of these people have fought for democracy. We've fought fascism, and now he's in bed with Putin. It's an outrage. People should be outraged at that. It's
been an incredible situation. My mother, when I was a teenager and growing up, and really into my early 20s, used to say all the time, "You guys haven't experienced anything. Nothing happened to your entire generation." And then 9/11 and everything that's happened since, and suddenly, it's a tumultuous time.
Basically, Obama got rid of Osama and that whole crowd.
Sure.
He needs a lot of credit for that.
Absolutely. All right, switching gears.
And by the way, since when does Lindsey Graham and the rest of these Republicans, since when are they pro-Russia? In my whole lifetime, it was against Russia. Do you remember HUAC, the House Un-American Activities Committee? Which you were obviously not born. I was a child.
Right.
People's lives were ruined because they insisted that they were in league with Russia. And now they're back in league with Russia? What the hell is going on?
It is puzzling. Let's switch gears for a second because you're getting worked up. And
I'm getting worked up.
Yeah, have some kettle corn.
All right.
We'll bring you down.
Go ahead.
All right. Yesterday, I was talking to Anna Navarro about the...
Anna Navarro. Oh, yes, I remember her.
You know Anna. We were asking her if she would ever go on one of those space rockets like Katy Perry and Gayle King are about to do.
Gayle King is shaking in her boots. I saw a thing on social about that.
Yes.
She's scared. Why is she doing it?
I don't know the answer, but here's the question. Is there any version of you that would be interested in doing this?
Never. No, not in this lifetime or the next or the one after that.
See, I guess I'm wrong. I thought I could get somebody to do this from the View hosts. Do you think any of them would?
Maybe Sarah.
Maybe Sarah.
Of all of us, I think she would be the most game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's my best shot.
She's like, that commercial, Mikey, he'll eat anything.
Yeah.
She's like that. She's like our Mikey.
Give it to Sarah. She'll do anything. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. She doesn't listen to the podcast, so when she's on the podcast the next time, I'm going to present it to her like it's real. I'm going to tell her that we've gotten an offer, and are you willing to do it?
Okay.
And let's see what she says.
Right. Why don't you text her right now and ask her?
All right, you want to do it?
Yeah.
Right, hold on. She rarely answers when I call, but let's see what happens today. Stand by.
Hello?
Hey, Sarah, sorry to bother you. We just got a feeler out from the Blue Origin people, Jeff Bezos. Is there a world where you'd consider going up on the Blue Origin rocket?
I'd consider it.
All right, great. Thank you. I'm lying at the moment, but I was talking to Joy about who would actually do it on the staff. We're doing the podcast.
Sarah, we're in the podcast, and he said, is there anyone who would do it? And I said, Sarah will do it.
She said, Sarah's like Mikey. She'll try anything.
She is like Mikey.
I hope you're not disappointed.
She likes it.
I was excited.
But I don't want you to go.
She doesn't want you to go.
I do not want you to go.
Yes.
Because Joy loves me. I'm her favorite.
I do. Right. I do love her.
Okay.
All right. That's all we got time for. But thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So Sarah would go up.
I told you.
Yeah. All right. That's interesting. Whoopi said hell no.
Of course.
I thought I could convince her. I guess not.
I don't even think Elissa would do it.
No? Well, we'll find out.
She doesn't trust Republicans.
No. And Sunny's risk averse, as she likes to tell us.
And so am I.
And so are you. All right, fine. I just think it'd be cool to do something that so few people have gotten to do.
Why don't you do it?
I mean, no one wants me up there, but I was thinking I'd go with one of you and like film it on my iPhone. I'd be in for it.
No, that is a scary thing to me.
My wife wouldn't want me to go, but I'd be into it.
Don't be so sure.
All right. On today's show, we also talked about something, this reality show called Love is Blind.
Oh, God.
And in the show, people meet behind a wall from their pod, and date without seeing each other. If they decide to take the next step in the relationship, then they meet each other in person. What's your take on this idea? Do you think that love is blind? I mean, we've talked about it a lot. Your first encounter with your husband was not blind. You saw everything.
There's a monologue in my show, My First Ex-Husband.
Yes.
About a woman who's in the Orthodox community, the Jewish Orthodox community. Very, very, very strict and Hasidic. And one of the things she has to do is meet a boy and marry him sight unseen.
Right.
So it reminds me of that. Mm-hmm. And I think it's barbaric to do that. I don't think it's a good idea to just throw people together.
You're not a fan of the arranged marriage?
I'm not really. Although in my old neighborhood, there was a woman named Tessie and her husband Cheech, which is really a nickname for Frank.
Right.
Like, Frank Sinatra, they call him Cheech.
Yeah.
And she was a hookup with him, an arranged marriage. And she once said to me, it was the best thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess a lot of them did work out in the end.
He used to keep money under the mattress, that Cheech.
I'm glad things worked out for them. Did they make it all the way?
Yeah. Well, in those days, they never got divorced. Then when they said till death do us part, they meant, could I have an extension?
All right. So Love is Blind. So you think you're not a fan. You're not a fan of the idea of marrying people you haven't seen.
No.
No.
Not at all.
Okay.
No. I mean, I want to know the person. I like to be friends a little bit first before. Remember how long it took me to get married?
18 years?
I met the guy in 1982. We got married in 2011.
Okay. That's a long time. You felt confident at the end.
Yes.
You figured it out.
And by the way, we are on the same page politically.
Mm-hmm.
He's worse than me. He cannot stand to look at Trump. When he sees him on TV, he walks out of the room.
I got engaged a year after dating my wife, and we got married 9 months after that, and that was it. So that was fast. And
that's
lucky,
fast.
Yeah, and 20 years in, I wouldn't want my kids to go that fast.
No, but yours worked out. But a lot of times they don't.
No.
Like I got married at 22. I had just turned 22.
Mm-hmm.
I knew him for a year and a half, maybe.
Okay, same kind of, yeah.
And then we didn't know who we were. We were like two unformed pieces of protoplasm.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are getting married and starting a family. It was crazy. It was crazy. He's a good person. I was a good person. We just changed.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to allow yourself to change in your 20s.
Right.
The problem is the eggs dry up. That's the issue.
Yeah, plus they're very expensive. All right, we have a viewer question. Oh, you're doing the other eggs there. Joy, I'm a big theater fan, and sadly will never get to NYC to see your shows.
Where is he from? I'll go there.
Oh, he doesn't say. Do we know? Doesn't say. But I am very curious.
My show,
yes.
My first ex-husband, is going to be on the road eventually.
It's coming. It's coming to a town near you.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to London in the summer to see if we can do it in London also, because somebody's interested in it in London. I mean, it's the kind of show that can travel.
You're going to be very hot. You don't like the heat.
In London, I can handle it.
All right. We'll see. By the way, your ability to work the show into absolutely every conversation rivals that of the great Barbara Walters.
No, what do you think? I learned from
I mean,
the
it's
best.
really, really impressive.
I learned from the best.
Yeah, it's.
You want to hear a story about her?
I would love one.
So when I was fired from the show.
Yes, I love all those stories.
Yeah. So let's say I was fired on a Wednesday, and by Thursday, Diane Sawyer got wind of it. And then on Friday, I was one of the stories on World News Tonight. In other words, there's a war in Mozambique, whatever, and Joy Behar was fired. Okay? So now I come back on Monday because I wasn't leaving right away. But she got the scoop on Diane.
Oh.
And Barbara said to me, you've been working, and Barbara's the one who fired me.
Right.
And she said, you've been working here all these years and you did not give me the scoop? And I said to her, Barbara, when your book came out, you gave it to Oprah.
Exactly.
And she said, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
But here's my question. She obviously had all the relevant information. She could have given herself the scoop.
I don't know exactly what happened there. I think they were trying to underplay it, because I was pretty popular. Well, Hillary McLaughlin begged me to come back.
I know. Again, I was a part of that process. We were.
She's the one who called me. Okay?
She is, but I went to lunch with you at the Atlantic Grill, and I tried to woo you. I called you a couple times. You picked up the phone. One of them. I mean, I'm just saying. I was there. It was Hillary's brainchild,
right.
but I was around.
It's just that she called me.
Yes,
while I was in Provincetown.
Yes, she wooed you.
I was looking for a drag show. That's what I was doing. Where can we go see a drag show? The phone rings. Would you like to come back just on Fridays? Because Whoopi's not going to be working on Fridays. And I said, well, let me get back. Well, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I'm there 5 days a week.
Yes, we lured you in.
All right, enough about that.
I enjoy all that. All right, what else did Barbara teach you about having a long, successful career?
Publicize. Publicize.
Yes.
She started with on 2020 on Monday, and it was airing on Friday. And that was her. She was
ahead of the game on that.
She was very good at that.
Yeah.
She also told me, don't go to the bathroom if you're looking to book somebody, because she never peed.
Did she drink less water?
Probably.
Everyone's saying hydrate. Hydration is key, but no.
She was dehydrated.
It'll hold you back.
Look, if you want the customer, if you want the booking, then you have to be dehydrated.
I have to say,
that's the rule.
You rarely book things, but occasionally you come through with something pretty big.
Well, lately, you've been listening to me because I got you Pritzker.
Yeah.
And somebody else.
Well, you showed up at an event with Governor Walz when he was going to be the VP.
Right. That's right.
That helped us there too. Yeah.
You know who you should book now? Bernie Sanders. Bernie, I want Bernie back because Bernie speaks to working people.
All right, we'll get Bernie back. We love Bernie. All right, we have a question from Joe in Virginia. My question is for Joy. What has the gay community meant to you throughout your career or life?
Oh, the gay community. First of all, when I was a stand-up comedian, the gay community, I would work in the village any time of the day, any time of the night, anywhere I can get a spot. They always got every reference. They get every reference. They're smart. They watch everything. They read things. As a group. I don't want to lump them all together, but a lot of them do. And they knew everything. That was one thing. And then I'm there. I will go to bat for them because I think that they're unjustly and unfairly attacked, as they are being again in this environment with this administration. And I was the recipient of a GLAAD award.
Yes.
Which I'm very proud of.
You should be.
I'm more proud of that than any other award I've ever gotten, including the Emmy, because it means that I actually meant something to somebody, that I did something good for some community. And I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
They appreciate me, and it's vice versa.
Absolutely. I feel like there's a large gay fan base to the show in general.
Well, they come to see my show at night, and it's about my show, My First Ex-Husband, which is playing at the MMAC Theater on West 60th Street in New York City. It's every 4 weeks, by the way, we change the cast. Did you know that?
I did know that, but tell us again.
I hear Barbara's voice.
Yes.
Say it again. I forgot what I was saying.
You were plugging the show again.
No, before that, there was a reason that I jumped
Gay community, every 4 weeks we change the cast.
Now the show is about women telling the stories of their marriages. It's really women, but the gay community comes to see the show.
That's great.
Yeah.
I will also say, again, it's a kind of cliche, and maybe it's not true, not everyone, but the theater community and the gay community have some overlap,
yes,
I think, for
they
sure.
love theater.
I will say I am never recognized more often than at intermission at a Broadway show. It's my greatest it's my greatest
those
moment.
Are the Bri guys.
Those are the Bri guys. They watch they love the podcast, and occasionally they'll be in the theater.
I see.
The best day ever was Whoopi's Broadway show. Then I had everybody together, so that was good. It was that was great. My kids were like, "People know who you are." It was amazing. So anyway, all right. Thank you for joining me today, Joy Behar.
You're quite welcome.
Tomorrow I'll be back with...
Why can't I find this kettle corn anyplace? I look, the King Cullen doesn't have it. Whole Foods doesn't have it.
It is very available.
Where?
I don't want you to find it. I want to keep you under my thumb. Nobody tell her where to find Skinny Pop Popcorn.
You know, if you go to my office sometimes, it's all over the floor like it's
all over the floor here, too.
Like some kind of toddler.
No, we've got like high-paid producers sweeping up after you.
Wait a minute. Sometimes it falls into my brassiere. I have to like dig in here to get it out.
You know how on your birthday we do like the yard sale? I think next year we should auction off autographed bags of Skinny Pop for people.
No one wants that.
Oh, they all love it. They all love it. All right, it'll be Sunny Hostin here with me tomorrow. Thank you for joining me, and we'll talk to you then.